Right now at noon, a motorcyclist is charged with 2 counts of felony murder after driving recklessly in downtown Joplin.
As expected, still a few stray showers across the area this afternoon. Otherwise, it's heating up ahead of more thunderstorm chances. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
And Labor Day may have just ended, but it's never too early to start planning for Halloween. We'll have the spooky happenings going on this fall.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on KOAM News at Noon. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. In today's top story, Joplin police released the names of 2 people killed in a crash involving 3 motorcycles Saturday night. Police say 2 motorcyclists, 18-year-old Colton Goddard of Welch, Oklahoma, and 20-year-old Taryn Morris of Miami were recklessly speeding down Main Street when they ran into another motorcyclist, 60-year-old Mark McGowan of Miami. Morris and McGowan died in the crash. Goddard was not hurt, but has been charged with 2 counts of felony murder. A Missouri family wants answers after police tased a 5-year-old boy at a Labor Day festival. Officers say it was an accident. Part of the incident was caught on video. Diamond Palmer reports.
I could hear him screaming in the background, and I didn't really know what happened.
It's a mother's worst nightmare. Bystander video capturing the moments in which Zoe Fortenberry's son Jackson was tased. Video shows him on the left side of your screen with his uncle Jeremiah. Fun quickly turned to chaos at an annual Labor Day picnic. According to Deloge police, they deployed a taser at 2 men fighting that ended up bouncing off the ground and hitting 5-year-old Jackson.
So we had just left, and like 5 minutes later, my brother had called me and said that he asked where we was and said that there was an incident and that we needed to come back.
As soon as we opened the door and he seen that was me and his mom, he just grabbed a hold of us and started, crying.
The family says the police never apologized for their actions, and they want to know why a taser was used in such a high traffic area.
I just don't think tasers was necessary, especially in a crowd with a lot of kids and a lot of people.
According to Deloge Police Department, the first taser strike hit 1 suspect successfully. When the officer fired a second time, intending to hit the second suspect, that's when it hit Jackson. A day later, Jackson is back on his feet and returning to normal activities. But his family says that doesn't stop the trauma of the situation.
You don't want them to fear officers, so you have to let them know that they're not the bad guys. But then again, how do you explain how he was tased?
As for what's next for the family, they say time will tell as the Deloge Police Department proceeds.
Was everything done that should have been done? Is kind of why we're waiting on the investigation. Was this prevented or could have been prevented is the question.
Jackson's family plans to meet with police, hoping they get more answers about the incident. Now let's take it over to Chris Warner, who joins us with a look at the forecast.
Yeah, we've had a few isolated to scattered showers continuing across the area. Otherwise, we've kind of dried out from this morning's activity, and we have more on the way. Live look at the MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line in Joplin. We got some cloud cover out there, and here's why. We still have some of these showers scattered across the area, back down in northeast Oklahoma, starting to exit southeast Kansas, and a few isolated showers into southwest Missouri. Now, this is an interesting feature here, and we're going to talk more about this in a moment. This isn't rain. None of this is actually happening. But what the radar is picking up on, this here, is a cold front. Now, it's a little deceiving. It's not going to make it fall like around here, unfortunately, but it is going to give us the possibility of some strong, maybe low-grade severe thunderstorms out there. So, as such, though, we've got a low-end risk for some small hail. The bigger concern is the elevated risk for damaging wind gusts in excess of 60 miles an hour. If these storms do come to be along this front, which is what we're expecting, it won't be until a little later this evening. So, Doug Heddy will be here through the 5 and 6 o'clock news, because it looks most likely after 5 p.m. this evening that we'll see these thunderstorms. As for now, yesterday started at 74, 10 degrees above where we should be, made it to 97, 11 above where we should be, and not far off of a record high. Those under the cloud cover and showers are a little cooler, 82 in Pittsburgh, for example, but then you get outside of that, 89 Yates Center, 88 Miami, 89 in Joplin, 88 Carthage, 89 Neosho, so it is heating up out there. We're going to talk more about your complete rain forecast, talking about our storm chances tonight and what the week ahead still has to hold here in a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. Well, Halloween is right around the corner, and we're seeing some 4 states residents already preparing for the festivities. The old Katy Hospital in Parsons is being transformed into a haunted house again this year. Project Fear is celebrating their 26th haunt season. They plan to kick off the spooky season on September 29.
Washington school was moving out. We've always wanted to come to the hospital to do the spook house here, but we formed the Historical Society. So then we kind of leased it out to Project Fear so they can do that haunted house here.
The Katy Hospital was built in the early 1920s, which gives it the perfect spooky aesthetic for Halloween. And Steve Harwell, the longtime frontman of the Grammy-nominated pop rock band Smash Mouth, has died. He was 56. The band's manager, Robert Hayes, says Harwell passed peacefully and comfortably Monday morning, surrounded by family and friends at his house in Boise, Idaho. The cause of death was acute liver failure. Smash Mouth was formed in 1994 and received commercial success in the 90s with hits like All Star, Walkin' on the Sun, and a cover of the Monkees' I'm a Believer that appeared on the Shrek soundtrack. And that's a look at today's top stories and weather in the 4 states region. Up next on KOAM News at Noon, we get the inside scoop about one of KOAM's news reporters. And later, we're making baked macaroni and eggplant Neapolitan in the Mr. Food Test kitchen. We're introducing you to our new team members. Our latest one is reporter Anthony Saviello.
I have my own personal KOAM lanyard, and I've already gotten some viewer for the news station. Yes, I do. So it is really cool.
Anthony Saviello is used to getting noticed, and he likes it that way.
I could spend all day on stage or in front of a camera. No problem whatsoever.
He says he's always chased the spotlight, performing in front of family, friends, and in school and theater productions. So it's only natural that life led him to his biggest stage yet, reporting news for KOAM.
You know, I wanted to be on camera one day. I wanted to be, you know, that news anchor or this weatherman or this reporter, and now I'm finally getting the chance to do it, and it's just kind of a dream.
Even a self-proclaimed extrovert needs to find some quiet moments. For Anthony, one spot is at the end of a fishing pole.
How about that? Hey, it's not a huge, but that'll do. There's a nice little bluegill there.
While isolation can help recharge, too much can be difficult for some. Anthony says this season of COVID was a challenge for him, and it was then that his mother began her fight against breast cancer.
And I remember about midway through the summer, you know, my parents kept calling my name, and I'm just in my room just kind of like bawling my eyes out because I just couldn't take it anymore, you know. All the emotions of having to deal with everything was really difficult.
But difficult seasons come and go, and Anthony found strength through family and especially his mother's spirit.
My mother is now a breast cancer survivor, though, which is amazing, and if I could have half the strength my mother does, I know for a fact I could be able to accomplish anything. It taught me a lot about myself and who I am. And then a few months later, after all this stuff happened, I met Courtney. And now I'm married, I'm with the love of my life.
Anthony and Courtney grew up in Springfield. Their careers led them to Lamar, where she teaches.
This is his favorite way to be held.
They do life with their 4 fur kids. A bit chaotic at times, as you'd expect, but a good addition as the young couple focuses on their new careers.
Franklin Technology Center students are getting their hands
Anthony is taken to his new position like, well, a fish to water, and quickly grasped the responsibility that comes with delivering the news.
It was just instant. It was, this is what I'm meant to do, this is where I'm meant to be for sure.
In fact, at this point, he can see himself behind the news desk someday, maybe in my seat. But there's one job that he says might be even better than that.
There it is. Oh, that felt good. Straight down the middle. 250 maybe? 250. Not bad. Not bad for a rookie. If ever a broadcast, like a golf broadcast job comes up, I will be a golf broadcaster. For sure. Put me on the PGA Tour. Absolutely. Absolutely. Tiger Woods would not have done that.
You can meet the rest of our team by heading to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Still to come on KOAM News at Noon, we see what's cooking with Mr. Food.
Join us as I show you how to tell if an eggplant is male or female. Then I'll tell you which one you should look for.
Interesting information to learn. Also coming up, we are tracking the potential for some strong, maybe severe thunderstorms this evening. Take a look at that forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at Noon. So we had a few showers and thunderstorms earlier this morning. We still have a few isolated showers around the region, and we will see more thunderstorm development as we head into the evening. So a lot of much needed rain on the way. Quick look once again at the Skywatch Storm Tracker, zoomed in a little bit closer, and you can see where we've got a little, some moderate showers down in parts of northeastern Oklahoma, and then we've got some of the lighter showers stretching across Cherokee County, and then back into southwest Missouri. All of this, of course, just kind of the remnants of this morning's activity. What we're going to be waiting for is here in about the next 5 hours and 45 minutes or so, the development of thunderstorms along a cold front. Now, none of this is actually rain, but thanks to the way the dynamics are in the atmosphere with this front, you can actually see that cold front stretching across parts of Kansas. Now, this is not a cold front. It is not going to suddenly kick into pumpkin spice latte weather tomorrow. It's still going to be pretty darn hot, but it's going to bring our temperatures down a wee bit. Unfortunately, in exchange for not much of a cool down, we do have the threat for strong to severe thunderstorms. We have a low end risk for maybe some small hail, but the greater concern is the elevated risk for damaging wind gusts of 60 miles an hour or greater across the area, again, especially in the yellow highlighted county. So that's something later this evening that, of course, Doug Heddy will be here, be watching very closely as we head into the evening hours. So here's where it kicks off. 6 o'clock. This little guy right here. Doesn't look like much, but it does not take long before it blossoms into a line of thunderstorms right along that cold front. But this is what I'm talking about. The cold front at this point is already here. Look at the temperatures back behind it. It's actually in some places could be cooler ahead of the cold front. So it's not really going to do a lot for our temperatures, but it will bring us showers and thunderstorms. Now, once the main front passes through, some redevelopment back behind that is possible. These storms may be strong, but the severe threat will be considerably lower as we go into the late evening and early overnight hours. And by Wednesday morning, before sunrise, the rest of this activity clears on out of here. So you can see where our better rain chances are as we head later into the afternoon, the evening, and early overnight hours across the area. Quick look outside, MoDOT camera 20th in range line. We got some clouds, we got some sun. Same from the MoDOT camera Neosho. You see the clouds out here, but we've got more sunshine out in front. Our camera here at the KOAM studios, here's some clouds, but there's some blue skies and a little bit of sunlight. And the KDOT camera just south of Pittsburgh also picking up on some of the clouds with some shower activity just south of the city. And do want to mention, because it is hot, we have heat advisories now in northeastern Oklahoma until 8 p.m. tonight, and heat index values in northeast Oklahoma could reach up to 110. So it's still hot, it's still muggy. 89 in Joplin, dew points at 70, feels like 94. We also have the gusty winds, and they'll continue to gust anywhere from 30 to 35 miles an hour out there. 84 in Pitt, dew point 71, feels like 89. And around the region, you get a quick look at these temperatures as we go mid-upper 80s for the most part across the region. And then once we factor in those dew points that are in the upper 60s and lower 70s, putting us in that sticky to muggy range, we get some heat index values out there pushing into the mid-90s. Look at Nevada and Stockton, already feels like 100 up there. So, yeah, uncomfortable to say the least. Temperatures still have a ways to go to heat up. Mid-90s today. We're going to hang on to, see, that's what I'm saying, only 91 tomorrow. It's not pumpkin spice latte weather by any means, but next week brings a little bit of a change. Pop-up storms Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and Monday. Hot through the weekend, and by the time we head into next week, our high temperatures start to fall to more seasonable levels, low to mid-80s. And we got a couple of nights in the mid-50s for overnight lows.
Could you imagine?
It's hard to imagine at this point, but it is on the way.
All right, I can't wait till that. Well, stick around because we're making macaroni and eggplant Neapolitan in the Mr. Food Test kitchen. We'll be right back. It's time to check in with Howard and the Mr. Food kitchen staff. Today he's making a dish that's like eggplant parmigiana and baked ziti all rolled into one. It's called baked macaroni and eggplant Neapolitan. Take a look.
Hey, I've got a question for you. Do you know how to tell a male eggplant from a female eggplant? Nope, I'm not kidding. There really are male and female eggplants. And to tell the sex of an eggplant, you'll look at the indentation at the bottom. If it's a dash, it's female. If it's round, it's male. Male eggplants have fewer seeds, which makes them a little less bitter. So the next time you're at the store, pick up a few male eggplants and try this. We begin by cooking some ziti according to the package directions. While that's draining, we slice an eggplant into very thin slices and season them with some salt and garlic powder. Then we pan fry them until they're browned on each side and lay them out on some paper towel. Now we toss the pasta with some sauce and layer half of it into a baking dish. Over that goes some mozzarella cheese, half the eggplant, and a little Parmesan. Now we'll repeat this one more time and finish it off with more sauce and more cheese. What you end up with is layer after layer of cheesy Italian goodness. To get this easy change of pace recipe, all you have to do is visit our website and search for baked macaroni and eggplant Neapolitan. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we learned how to tell the sex of an eggplant and then turned it into a truly Italian way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
To find this recipe, along with many others, just head over to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com and click on Mr. Food. Now here's a look at your 4 state market prices.
All right, still hot today, mid-90s out there and muggy. Watching the possibility for some strong, possibly severe thunderstorms after 5 o'clock this evening for some of us. We'll continue to stay hot through the weekend. Pop-up storms Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and Monday, and then we'll start to cool down to much more reasonable temperatures by next week.
All right, well, we'll be sure to keep an eye out for those thunderstorms then tonight.
Yep.
And Dow, what can we keep a lookout for tonight?
Well, a lot coming up at 5. Marijuana is a very commonly used drug in this nation. And while many studies have focused on the potential medicinal benefits, new research looks at a drug that curbs marijuana use for those who become dependent on that drug. Plus, the increase of homeless people in Pittsburgh and how the city is planning on handling it. And it's something from a movie as hundreds of birds migrate through Joplin. More than hundreds. Join us for those stories. A lot more, of course. It's coming up on KOAM News at 5.
All right. Well, that's the news for now. Thank you for joining us at KOAM News at Noon. Have a great rest of your day.